objections, and then you see how it doesn't make sense, and so you read something else which addresses those, and you think, oh, so this makes sense. And so it was a very kind of this way and that class. You read something, you think this makes a lot of sense, then you'd go to class, and some brilliant student, or Sandel himself, would stand up and show you why you're wrong.
I do think it is disquieting to sort of realize the extent to which, sort of the knee-jerk reaction to, a hot political topic conceals a lot of subtleties. It's easy to sort of have a position on the issue if you don't think about it critically. Part of the debate, the in-class, standing up and the Socratic method and everything was to, expose how many sides there are to each issue.
One of the cool things about it is he strung the philosophies together, so we would come to a point where we couldn't figure out what was the right thing, or we came to an answer we wouldn't like in one philosophy, and then he would say, well, there's another philosophy that kind of addresses, this set of questions, and we'd go into studying that. And so you could definitely see how they related to each other, what kinds of moral problems each philosophy was equipped to solve, and the differences in how they solved them.
Toward the end of the course, we take up the topic of same-sex marriage. It's a way of testing an idea that students are exposed to in Aristotle, the idea of telos, or purpose. In order to decide rights and justice, we first have to argue through the purpose, or telos, of social institutions, in this case, marriage.
I have sort of a teleological understanding of the purpose of sex and the purpose of marriage. And I think that it's difficult to separate that teleological understanding from the place it originates. And I think that for people like myself who are a Christian and also a Catholic, the purpose of sex is, one, for its procreative uses, and two, for a unifying purpose between a man and a woman within the institution of marriage.
You have a certain conception of the purpose, or the telos, of human sexuality, which is bound up with procreation,
right,
as well as union.
Yeah.
And the essence of marriage, the purpose of marriage as a social institution, is to give expression to that telos and to honor that purpose, namely the procreative purpose of marriage. Is that a fair summary of your view?
Yeah.
I'd just like to ask a question to Mark. Let's say you got married to a woman, you did not have sex with her before marriage, and then when you became married, it became evident that you were an infertile couple. Do you think that it should be illegal for you to engage in sex if children will not result from that act?
Yeah, I think that it is moral, and that's why I gave the two. So like a woman, say, I think older couples can get married, a woman who's beyond, who's already had menopause and who can't have a child, because I think that sex has purposes beyond procreation.
I mean, your beliefs are your beliefs, and that's fine, but civil union is not marriage within the Catholic Church. And the state has a right to recognize a civil union between whoever it wants, but does not have a right to impose the beliefs of a certain minority or majority or whoever it is based on a religion within our state.
All right, Victoria.
There's such a spectrum of views, and that people who make arguments for a particular way of looking at things, whether it's utilitarianism or communitarianism or whatever, they're very compelling arguments, and it's hard to resolve it. And people have been arguing for millennia, really, and there's still not one definite answer. And in ways that makes philosophy impossible, but it makes it beautiful at the same time, that we're still debating similar questions and we're still trying to find better answers.
Why do you think that it's a mistake for the state to try to be neutral on moral and even religious questions like same-sex marriage?
I don't know that it is possible, because people's lives are completely embedded in how they view the world, and maybe I just agree with Aristotle that the role of the government is helping people live in a sort of, like, having a collective understanding of what is wrong and what is right.
Is it possible, and one could ask the same question of abortion that we've been asking of same-sex marriage. Do you think it's possible to decide whether abortion should be permitted or prohibited without taking a stand or making a judgment about the moral permissibility of abortion?
No, I don't think it is, and I think that's why it's such a controversy, because people are so deeply committed to like their fundamental beliefs about whether a fetus is a life or if it isn't. So if I believe that a fetus is a living being and has rights and has like fundamentally the right to live, then it's very hard for me to say, but I can put that aside and let you do what you want, because that's like me saying, well, despite my beliefs, I'm going to let you commit what to me is murder.
Well, I think you absolutely can separate your moral opinion and what you think the law should be. For example, I think abortion is unequivocally morally wrong, but I do not believe that illegalizing abortion makes it go away. I don't believe illegalizing abortion stops it, and therefore I am pro-choice, and I do believe the woman should have the choice, as it gives them more safety, just as maybe morally I don't want to get married to a man, but I'm not going to try to, impede someone else's freedom to do what they wish to do in terms of the law.
Andrea?
Whether the law makes something legal or illegal it's implicitly approving or disapproving something. So if you say, like, by making abortion legal, we're saying it's okay. As a society, collectively, we're saying it's okay with us in our society to abort a fetus. If we make it legal, if we make it illegal, then we're saying collectively as a society, it's not okay. And that's why society said
tell us your name before.
My name is Daniel.
Daniel, what do you say?
Are we saying collectively that it's okay? Or are we saying that collectively we don't want women who are going to have an abortion anyway to go to clinics in the side alleys and have unsafe conditions?
All right, bring it to the same-sex marriage case. Why don't you have to decide that which position you're in favor of same-sex marriage, Daniel, being legally permitted?
I think it absolutely should be legally permitted, because it's not something telling me that I need to marry a man. I absolutely don't see, if two men are consenting adults and want to get married, I don't see how I could even object to that.
All right, there's no harm.
There's no harm done either way, even if it is morally wrong according to me.
All right, let me turn to the way the Massachusetts Superior Court, who made this landmark ruling in the same-sex marriage case, grappled with the very issue that Andrea and Dan have been discussing here. Thanks to both of you very much.
Sandel, gives students the confidence to, stand up and engage with the philosophers and debate them and recognize that these works, whether they were written, 5 years ago or 1,000 years ago, are really living, pieces of scholarship, and that, a 20-year-old Harvard student can stand up and, take his or her position and really engage with those works.
And you wonder why at first. If we're going to go through these questions again and again and again, is there really need to if we cannot all agree on one definitive answer? And one of the things Professor Sandel said at the beginning of the course, and he said at the end of the course, is that even if these questions are unanswerable in one sense, they're inescapable in another sense. And that's why we have to engage in that debate. That's why we have to wrestle with these questions. And that's really what justice is about. Looking at the arguments, studying the objections, addressing them, which we did in our papers, and ultimately trying to form some sort of coherent philosophy out of the many different political philosophies that we've been exposed to, each of which have developed in their own political tradition over thousands of years.
Why, we asked at the outset, why do these arguments keep going, even if they raise questions that are impossible ever finally to resolve? The reason is that we live some answer to these questions all the time. In our public life and in our personal lives, philosophy is inescapable, even if it sometimes seems impossible. We began with the thought of Kant, that skepticism is a resting place for human reason, where it can reflect upon its dogmatic wanderings, but it is no dwelling place for permanent settlement. To allow ourselves simply to acquiesce in skepticism or in complacence, Kant wrote, can never suffice to overcome the restlessness of reason. The aim of this course has been to awaken the restlessness of reason and to see where it might lead. And if we have done at least that, and if the restlessness continues to afflict you in the days and years to come, then we together have achieved no small thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Taking justice was really an eye-opening experience for me. Everything that you've thought of up to that point becomes questioned, becomes challenged, and you really have to, you have to navigate your way through these questions, and you can't do it falsely because ultimately reason and truth, these things are staring you right in the face.
What is the supreme principle of morality? Suppose the individual right to religious liberty were at stake. Is that an adequate way of thinking about justice? What's the right thing to do? We live some answer to these questions every day. This is a course about justice, and we begin with a story. Suppose you're the driver of a trolley car, and your trolley car is hurtling down the track at 60 miles an hour, and at the end of the track you notice 5 workers working on the track. You try to stop, but you can't. Your brakes don't work. You feel desperate because you know that if you crash into these 5 workers, they will all die. Let's assume you know that for sure. And so you feel helpless until you notice that there is, off to the right, a side track. And at the end of that track, there's one worker working on the track. Your steering wheel works, so you can turn the trolley car, if you want to, onto the side track, killing the one, but sparing the 5. Here's our first question. What's the right thing to do? What would you do? Let's take a poll. How many would turn the trolley car onto the side track? Raise your hands. How many wouldn't? How many would go straight ahead? A handful of people would. The vast majority would turn. Why would you do it? What would be your reason? Who's willing to volunteer a reason? Go ahead, stand up.
Because it can't be right to kill 5 people when you can only kill 1 person instead.
It wouldn't be right to kill 5 if you could kill 1 person instead. That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
I hadn't realized that the class was going to be so interactive. Because of its sheer size, I had expected it to be very much Professor Sindel lectures and then we sit there and take notes. And from the very beginning, from the moment he appeared on that stage the first day, he made it clear that this was going to be a community effort. That really hooked me from the beginning.
Another trolley car case. This time you're not the driver of the trolley car, you're an onlooker. You're standing on a bridge overlooking a trolley car track. And down the track comes a trolley car. At the end of the track are 5 workers. The brakes don't work. The trolley car is about to careen into the 5 and kill them. And now, you're not the driver. You really feel helpless until you notice, standing next to you, leaning over the bridge, is a very fat man. And you could give him a shove. He would fall over the bridge, onto the track, right in the way of the trolley car. he would die, but he would spare the 5. Now, how many would push the fat man over the bridge? Raise your hand.
아주 훌륭한 책입니다. 영상이 참 재밌습니다. 오, 이 책에 이 CD까지 들어있고 참 굉장한 책입니다.
activate your group. It's about finding the correct placement of your femur bone. Yeah. Your femur bone, the long bones that run in the thigh. When your knee is forward, it's close. But when your knee is turned on this angle, what I found is an opportunity, there's a big opportunity in that position to flex and activate your glutes. Does that make any sense? Yeah. So, when squatting, my knees are turned out, I'm not much more likely to be able to use my glute. Just doing a step up, or as we saw in that abduction movement, That's abduction. A-B.
Yeah.
For the exercise training, people want to correct you when you slip up. Sweating, you working hard, but we definitely want to try to share something with you. So before you knock it, just pay attention because there might be something in it that you can learn. And that's not being arrogant, that's just trying to share with them. So, like I said, our Congress are not better activation of you. So here, we're stepping up. It's not step with my knee, because my knee is parallel. I want to step in between my head so I can flex my glutes. Make sense?
마이크 샌델 1954년 미네소타에서 출생했다. 27세에 최연소 하버드대학 교수가 되었다. 29세에 자유주의 이론의 대가인 존 롤스의 정의론을 비판한 자유주의와 정의의 한계 Liberalism and the Limit of Justice 1982년 자유주의와 정의의 한계를 발표하면서 세계적 명성을 얻었다. 이 책에서 공동체주의자라는 용어를 처음 사용해 알렉스 데어, 맥킨타이머, 마이클 월저, 찰스 테일러 교수 등과 함께 공동체주의의 4대 이론가 중 한 명이자 존 롤스 이후 정의 분야의 세계적 학자로 평가된다. 1980년부터 30년간 하버드대에서 정치 철학을 가르치고 있다. 그의 정의 수업은 현재까지 20여 년 동안 하버드대 학생들 사이에서 최고의 명강의로 손꼽히고 있다. 이러한 명성으로 2002년 앤드 로버트 엠 베스 교수, 2008년 미국 정치학회가 수여하는 최고의 교수로 선정되었다. 자유주의와 정의의 한계 외에 다른 주요 저서로 민주주의의 불만, 데모크라시스 디스컨텐트, 1996년 민주주의의 불만과 공공철학, 퍼블릭 필로소피, 2005년 완벽함에 대한 반론, The Case Against Perfection 2007 등이 있다. 이창신, 대학에서 수학을, 대학원에서 번역을 공부하고 현재 전문 번역가로 활동 중이다. 욕망의 식물학, 커피 견문록, 목격, 창조자들, 하프타임, 백기사 신드롬, 신의 언어 등 다양한 책을 우리말로 옮겼다. 정의란 무엇인가? 키쿠에게 사랑을 담아 들어가는 말. 이 책은 대학 강의에서 시작되었다. 나는 30년 가까이 하버드 대학생들에게 정치 철학을 가르치는 특권을 누렸다. 그리고 그동안 정의라는 수업을 여러 차례 진행했다. 학생들에게 정의를 담은 뛰어난 철학서를 소개하고 철학적 문제를 제기하는 오늘날의 법적 정치적 논쟁을 다루는 수업이다. 정치 철학은 논쟁을 주고받는 학문이며 정의 수업의 묘미 하나는 학생들이 철학자에게, 다른 학생에게, 그리고 나에게 반박한다는 점이다. 따라서 나는 여러 해 동안 이 여정에 동참해준 학생 수천 명에게 가장 먼저 고마움을 표한다. 학생들이 정의를 주제로 열띤 토론을 벌이던 분위기가 이 책에도 그대로 담기기를 기대한다. 아울러 수업 진행을 도와준 수백 명의 대학원생과 법학도들에게도 고마움을 전한다. 매주 회의 때마다 이들의 날카로운 질문 덕에 나는 늘 긴장을 늦추지 않았고 우리가 학생들에게 전해주려 한 철학적 주제를 깊이 이해할 수 있었다. 책 쓰는 것과 강의하는 것은 비록 같은 주제를 다룰지언정 매우 다르다. 그러다 보니 이 책을 쓰면서 여러 면에서 처음부터 다시 시작할 때가 많았다. 이번 작업을 지원해준 하버드 법학 전문대학원 학예 공동연수에 시장의 도덕적 한계에 관한 연구를 지원해준 뉴욕 카네기 재단의 카네기 학자 지원 프로그램 관계자에게도 감사한다. 자상함과 인내심을 발휘해 이 일을 성원해준 바탄 그레고리안, 퍼트리자 로즌필드, 피더 맥케이는 특별히 고마운 분들이다. 이 책에서 시장과 도덕을 언급한 부분은 이분들이 지원하는 프로젝트의 시작이기도 하다. 파라 스트라우스 앤드 지로 출판사의 뛰어난 분들에게도 큰 도움을 받았다. 조너선 갤러시, 폴 엘리, 제프 세로이, 로레 쿡은 처음부터 끝까지 즐겁게 함께한 이런 분들이며 저작권 대리인인 에스더 뉴버그도 그러하다. 책을 좋아하고 책 만들기에 애정이 넘치는 이들이 가능한 한 모든 정보를 제공해 주었기에 나는 편하게 글을 쓸 수 있었다. 깊이 감사드립니다. 아들 애덤과 에론은 숟가락질을 시작할 순간부터 식탁에서 정의를 주제로 한 논쟁을 접했다. 두 아들이 보여준 도덕에 대한 진지함, 명석함, 열정은 도전적이고 야무졌으며 보고 있노라면 즐거웠다. 미심쩍은 마음이 들 때면 우리는 다 함께 우리의 도덕적, 정신적 시금석이자 내 정신적 동반자인 키쿠에게 의지했다. 내 사랑을 담아 이 책을 키쿠에게 바친다. 마이크 샌드. (1강) 옳은 일하기, 1강 옳은 일하기, 행복, 자유, 미덕, 어떤 상처를 입어야 상위 군인 훈장을 받을 자격이 있을까? 구제금융을 둘러싼 분노, 정의를 이해하는 세 가지 방식, 철로를 이탈한 전차, 아프가니스탄의 염소치기, 도덕적 딜레마. 2강 최대 행복 원칙, 공리주의, 제러미 벤담의 공리주의. 반박 1. 개인의 권리. 반박 2. 가치를 나타내는 단일 통합, 대가를 받고 치르는 고통, 존 스튜어트 밀. 3강 우리는 우리 자신을 소유하는가, 자유지상주의, 최소국가, 자유시장 철학, 마이클 조던의 돈. 우리는 우리 자신을 소유하는가. 4강 대리인 고용하기, 시장과 도덕, 징집과 고용, 무엇이 옳은가. 자원군 5호, 대가를 받는 임신, 대리 출산 계약과 전, 외주 임신. 5강 중요한 것은 동기다, 이마누엘 칸트의 권리 5호, 행복 극대화의 문제점, 자유란 무엇인가, 사람과 삶을, 도덕이란 무엇인가, 동기를 찾아라, 도덕의 최고 원칙은 무엇인가, 정언 명령 대 가언 명령, 도덕과 자유, 칸트에 대한 능력, 섹스, 거짓말, 그리고 정치. 6강 평등 옹호, 존 롤스, 계약의 도덕적 한계, 합의만으로는 부족할 때, 야구 카드와 물이 새는 병기, 합의가 반드시 필요하지는 않을 때, 휴메 집과 유리 닦기, 이익인가 합의인가, 샘의 자동차 수리, 완벽한 계약성 상하기, 정의의 원칙 2가지, 도덕적 임의성 배제놀이, 평등주의 악몽, 도덕적 자격 거부하기, 삶은 불공평한가. 7강 소수 집단 무대 정책 논쟁. 소수 집단 우대 정책 논제, 시험 격차 바로잡기, 과거의 잘못 보상하기, 다양성 증대, 인종별 우대 정책은 권리를 침해하는가, 인종 분리 정책과 반이대적 1단계, 백인 우대 정책. 정의는 도덕적 자격에서 분리될 수 있다. 대학이 경매로 입학생을 뽑아도 될까? 8강 누가 어떤 자격을 가졌는가? 아리스토텔레스, 정의, 텔로스, 명과, 목전론적 사고, 테니스 코트와 곰돌이 푸. 대학의 텔로스는 누구인가? 대학의 텔로스는 무엇인가? 정치의 목적은 무엇인가? 정치에 참여하지 않고도 좋은 사람이 될 수 있는가? 행동으로 터득하기. 정치와 좋은 삶. 9강 우리는 서로에게 어떤 의무를 지는가? 중직 딜레마. 사죄와 손해배상. 조상의 죄를 우리가 속죄해야 하는가? 도덕적 개인주의. 정부는 도덕적으로 중립을 지켜야 하는가? 정의와 자유. 공동체의 요구. 이야기하는 존재. 합의를 넘어서는 의무. 연대와 소속. 애국심이 미덕인가? 연대는 우리 사람만 챙기는 편애인가? 충직이 보편적 도덕 원칙을 뛰어넘을 수 있을까? 정의와 좋은 삶. 10강 정의와 공동선. 중립을 지키려는 열망. 낙태와 줄기세포 논란. 동성혼. 정의와 좋은 삶. 공동선의 정치. 옳은 일하기. 1강 정의와 부정, 평등과 불평등, 개인의 권리와 공동선에 관해 다양한 주장이 난무하는 영역을 어떻게 이성적으로 통과할 수 있을까? 이 책은 사상의 역사가 아닌 도덕적, 철학적 사고 여행을 통해 그 질문에 대답하고자 한다. 행복, 자유, 미덕, 어떤 상처를 입어야 상위 군인 훈장을 받을 자격이 있을까? 구제금융을 둘러싼 분노, 정의를 이해하는 3가지 방식, 철로를 이탈한 전차, 아프가니스탄의 염소치기, 도덕적 딜레마. 2004년 여름 멕시코만에서 세력을 일으킨 허리케인 찰리가 플로리다를 휩쓸고 대서